Hi, I'm OliverAge24. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create health bars in Unity that follow players or enemies around on the screen and always face the camera. As usual, I'll show you how I'm doing it, but I'll also try to explain why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. I've always found that I learn more when I know why something is done a certain way rather than just how to do it. So let's make like a frog and hop into Unity. So I'm here in Unity 6 and I've just made a blank 3D URP project. You can use any version of Unity, this should still work the same, but if you're using Unity 6 it'll look the same as mine does. You can also do it with a 3D project or a 2D project because we're just going to be using Unity UI, which is the same in both. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove these README assets because I don't need them. Gone. Nice. Now that they're removed, let's also delete this scene. And then we're going to make a new scene. So I right click here, I go to create scene and then scene. And makes a new scene, and I'll just call this gameplay. And then I'll double click this to open it. And we don't want to save our sample scene. So this scene has just got a main camera and a directional light, which is fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click and then create a 3D object and a cube. We're going to use this cube to represent an enemy. So I'm just going to move the camera so that we're sort of above looking down isometrically at the cube. So I'm going to raise it to 5 and then I'm going to tilt it downwards by about 30 and then I'm going to spin it 45 degrees and move it -5 across and then -5 there. And then I'm going to lower it down again a bit. That looks good. And then I'm just going to alter the field of view to zoom in a bit. Nice. Maybe 35. There we go. Nice. A cube. Now the health bar that I'm going to show you how to make is going to be in the scene. It's not going to be on the UI above the screen. So what we're going to do is go to our cube, right click, and then we're going to go down to UI and we're just going to add an image. And this will create a canvas on our cube, which we're going to click on. We're going to go to our canvas and then we're going to go from screen space overlay to world space. And that will place it in the world. Now we need to put it at the same location as our cube. So we want to go to 0, 0, and it will be in the same space as our cube. But you can see that it is massive. So with our canvas size, we're going to make it 1 by 1. So this is the same size as our cube. And then we're going to go to our image and we're going to change the size of this so that it's 1 wide by a height of 0.2 should be good. And then we need to raise it above our cube. So I'm going to put it at a height of 1.2 so that it sits above our cube. Now what you'll notice is that it is angled away from our screen. So we need to make it face the screen. Now the way I would do this is on our canvas object, we can add a new script, and we'll call this Billboard UI. Billboard is usually used when you've got a sprite that will always face the screen no matter what angle you view it at or what angle you're facing the object. So I've created a Billboard UI script and I'm just going to right click it and then go to edit script. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to need 2 different transforms. We're going to need our camera transform, so we'll call this main camera transform, and we're going to need this transform, and I'll make both of those private just so it's clear to understand. So what we're going to want to do is in our late update, and late update is going to be a private void. Okay, and then what we're going to want to do is if main camera.transform equals null, then we'll just do main camera transform equals, and then we'll do camera.main.transform. And then we'll do if this transform equals null, this transform equals transform. We only have to call it once to get it, and then we cache it so that it's easier on processing on future frames. And then all we want to do is this transform dot look at, and then we look at the main camera transform dot position, and that will turn our object to face the main camera. The reason I've done it in late update is that it happens after everything in the scene has moved, which is what we want for this. And we want that to happen because if this enemy moves around, we want the UI to update after the enemy has moved. Okay, so if I just go back to Unity and press play, this should rotate and face our camera, which it does. Awesome. Cool. So then we can go back to our image and we're just going to edit this a little bit to make it look more like a health bar. So I'm just going to title this white outline, and then I'm going to right click it and go to UI image. And then on this one, I'm just going to change this to be stretch, and I'll just put 0, 0, 0, 0 to make it the same size. And then actually I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to do 0.02. That should do it. 0.02. And 0.02 and 0.02, and I'm going to change this color to black. Nice. So now we've got a black background with a white outline. I'm just going to rename this to black background, and then I'm going to right click it and I'm going to go again to UI image, and then I'm going to change this to scale, and I'm just going to put 0, 0, 0, 0 to make it the same size as the black background. But I'm actually going to add a little bit of a border to the top and the bottom. So I'm going to put in here 0.05 again and 0.05. Actually, it was 0.02 and 0.02. And now we need a color for our health bar. I'm just going to color this red. I'm going to do it the same color as my YouTube artwork, which is F8333C for the red. Now, because we don't have an image in here, we can't access the fill options. So you could either add a blank sprite that's just like 1 pixel by 1 pixel, and then you can access the fill options. Or what we're going to do is we're going to scale it in the x-axis. Now, we don't want to scale it from the middle inwards because that would be weird. We want to change this X pivot to 0. And then when we scale it, it'll scale down as you'd want a health bar to scale. So 1 would be full health, 0.5 would be half health, and 0 would be no health. So if I press play now, our health bar will rotate to face the camera still. If we move our object around, the health bar will always face our camera. Now, you might not like that it rotates the actual UI itself. So I'm going to show you how to change that if you don't want that to happen. So if we stop the game running and we go back to our script here, Canvas, Billboard UI. If we edit this script and we add in an extra option here, so we'll do a serialized field, private bool, we'll call this freeze horizontal rotation, and I'll set this to false to begin with, and then we can tick it true on the inspector. And then here we'll do if not freeze horizontal rotation, this is the one we do. Just fix our bracket there. Else. So the way we're going to fix this is we're going to add in a vector free position to look at, which is going to be where our camera is, camera transform dot position, but we need to offset it by the position of our enemy unit. So that when we want to do minus this transform dot position, and then we're going to do this transform dot look at position to look at. And then what we want to do is go to our Billboard UI script, and we're just going to freeze horizontal rotation. And then if we move our cube around, that's not working. And I think actually the reason for that is we want to plus instead of minus. And then when we move our cube, yeah, that fixes that issue. So the health bar will move with the unit, but it will always be flat to the screen. Cool, so I'm going to pause that. What I'm going to add now onto our canvas is a new script. We're going to call this health bar, and then we're going to right click it and edit script. So for our health bar, we're just going to delete that code and we're going to do using Unity Engine.ui. So since we're scaling with the transform, all we're going to need is a transform, which is going to be our health transform. We could call it health image transform just to make it more clear. And then we're going to do serialize field private transform health image transform. Cool. And then in our late update, so that any health has been taken away and we get the accurate health, and then we might as well add in our health here so that we can grab it easily. We'll do float current health with an underscore because it's a private variable, and then we'll do float maximum health also with an underscore because it's private. And I'll just put private in as well to make it more clear. So we're going to want to do health image transform dot local scale equals vector free, and then we need to put in our values. So we know for Y we want to do 1, for Z we want to do 1, and then for X we actually want to do current health divided by maximum health. And it's telling us that we can't do vector free like a method, so we have to do new vector free, and it'll create a new vector free, and the X coordinate will be our health, and then 1 1 for our Y and Z coordinates. And what we can do to stop it from going beyond 0 and beyond 1, we can do a new float and we'll call it health value equals, and then we'll do current health divided by maximum health here, and then we can do health value equals math.f.clamp between 0 and 1 health value. And then here, instead of doing the calculation in that, we can just change that to health value. And that will just make sure our health bar never scales past 1 and never scales beyond 0. Cool. And then we need a way to set our current health and our maximum health. So we're going to add a new public function called public void set health. And for that we're going to need a float, which is our current health, and another float for our maximum health. And then we're going to do current health equals current health and maximum health equals maximum health. And then actually, since we're setting our health externally, we can change this late update to update health, and then we can just set those values, and then we'll do update health. And that way our UI will only get updated when the health has actually changed, because we've called this set health function. Now we're going to need a script on our cube that is just going to contain our health for the cube. So we're going to do cube manager. And obviously this is just an example of how to use it, but this could be your player manager or your enemy manager or anything that has health in your scene. So if I edit script now, we're going to want a reference to our health bar. So we're going to do private health bar, and we'll just call that health bar underscore because it's a private variable. And then I'm going to do serialize field. Then we're going to give our cube health. So we're going to want float current health equals, let's do 50. Float maximum health, let's also do 50. And then we'll make both of these private variables. So private float, private float. So as a quick way to test it, I'm just going to do private void on mouse down. And this will be called anytime we click on this object, the cube. We're going to do health bar, set health And then we're going to pass in our current health and our maximum health. But also we want to do current health minus equals 1. And that will take 1 health off each time we click on this object. So now if we go back to Unity, and we have to set our health bar in our cube manager, so I can just drag the canvas, because that's where it is, onto there. And then we've got it, and then we press play. And then we also need to go to our canvas, and on our health image transform, I'm not sure why it says restore up here. But anyway, on our health bar UI here, we're just going to want to set our transform, which is our image here, for our health bar. We can actually rename this from image to health bar as well, to make it clear that that's the actual health. And then if we hit play, you'll see we've got our health bar. We can move our object around and the UI will always face the correct way. And then also we can rotate the object and the health bar will always face the right direction. And then if we click on it, you can see that our health is draining. It's actually draining in the wrong direction. And it's doing that because it is facing the same way as the camera, but we actually need to make it face the opposite way to the camera. So if we go back to our scripts, we can go to our Billboard UI. We just need to go here and put look at and then put minus. So it will look in the opposite direction to the position that we've told it to look. Press play again, and then we click, and now it's working. And then if we take all the health down to 0 and keep clicking, it won't go beyond 0 into the minuses. So that's how you can do a health bar that follows your enemies or your players around the screen in Unity. Thanks for watching.